Hello, and welcome to the next installment of Release Manager. In this installment, I'm going to show you how to create a patch for your product and how to upload it. Also, we're going to go through how to integrate the setting system from your launcher into your Unity game instead of using Unity's dialog. So, to show you what we're talking about, the patch we're going to make to the game once it launches. So if you're familiar with launching Unity products, you're familiar with the little launch screen that you get at the beginning of the products running. So here we see the screen resolution, the quality choices, etc. So what I want to do is not have this screen and to rather have something in Release Manager that lets you select the resolutions and the graphics quality. So we're going to close this, and the first thing we have to do is go back into our Unity product and actually disable that screen, which is pretty easy to do. You go from Edit, Project Settings, Player. So once the player properties are open in the inspector, you look down to the Display Resolution dialog. This is the thing that you're seeing on screen that does the resolution selection. So I'm going to disable that. Now that that's disabled, when this game launches, it won't show the dialog. But what's missing at the moment is synchronizing any screen resolution changes from the game to Release Manager. In particular, full screen, but also in my game, I might have something that changes the screen resolution. So Release Manager has a small Unity plugin which you can install from the Unity Manager, the Unity menu in Release Manager. So Unity, open Unity package, click on that, and it installs the plugin for Unity. If you go to the Release Manager folder in plugins, you'll see a single prefab. That prefab needs to go into your start scene. Once it's in your start scene, this prefab will detect changes to screen resolution, detect changes to full screen, windowed mode, detect any changes you make in Unity, feed those back to the launcher so that the next time you launch your game, the launcher honors the settings that your game has made and vice versa. This means that at this point you don't really need settings in the launcher if you have them in your game, but we're going to assume you want them in the launcher as well. So before we do that, let's just create our build. So we're going to build a new release, build that, overwrite the old one in our build folder, and off we go. So I'm just going to wait for that to finish. It doesn't take terribly long. Okay, so here is the new version of our game that we need to patch. So let's go back into Release Manager. So first of all, let's create a new release for that. So you create the new release button, the same one we clicked on previously, and we give this release a version number, so 1.1. So there we go, there's 1.1. There's 1.1's Windows 64 folder, which is currently empty. So we take a game from here, we paste it in, and now we have our game. So the next step is to compile it. We just want the patch, and off we go, and it patches the files. So you can see that the original size of this product is 48 megabytes, but the actual patch is 1.75 kilobytes. So that's really tiny, to be blunt. Okay, so we close that. Now we can upload this patch. We don't need to worry about our end users at this point, because when we upload, this is the 1.0 is still current. So our end users will not download 1.1 until we make it current. But we're not ready to do that yet, because what we want to do is add to the launcher a settings button. So I'm going to copy this button because I want all of its properties, its images, etc. So designer, copy, select off it, otherwise the paste will simply replace it. Paste, and there's a new button. Currently it's on magnetic snap, so it's in the right place. And now I just need to reconfigure this as a settings button. So we edit its properties. We're going to say settings, and the button type changes now to Unity settings. So there's Unity settings and Unity game launch. These are only available if your original project type is Unity from the start screen. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to make this a settings button in the meantime. Save. So here, where the type is Unity, that is how you get the settings button. Now there's one other step we need to make. The start button over here currently is executing the Unity game as an executable. Now there's nothing wrong with that because Unity does create an executable, but what we want to do is change this to a Unity game launch. This means that Release Manager's launcher will recognize that this executable accepts the parameters for setting the screen resolutions and all of those behaviors that Unity requires when you launch a Unity game. So we hit save. Now we need to upload this layout, so we do that, and off that goes. I like watching it here. Okay, so that's uploaded, everything's done. Go to Manage Releases, we go to 1.1, and we make that current. Okay, so now pretty simple. Go back to our desktop, and we're going to launch our game. Now the patch was 1.5K, so it's going to happen so quickly. So pay attention, because it's gone before it starts. So we launch our game. So click Update to 1.1. You see we're on 1.0. It downloads, it applies, it's done. Okay, because it's really quick to patch 1.5K. Now, if I click Settings, it brings up Screen Resolution. So the default screen resolution is my desktop resolution. And you can see all the resolutions this computer is capable of using. You can also see the quality settings. These are the default quality settings from Unity. Now, you can specify these in the designer if you want to limit the options. So under the settings button, if you look at screen sizes, if you enter a list of these, one on each line, with 320 and then the small lowercase x 640, etc., oh sorry, 640 by 300 and so on, you'll get all the screens, and those will be the only screens that will be presented to your player. And the same with the quality choices, one on each line here, and the one with an asterisk at the end of it becomes the default. So we'll put more online about how to specifically set all of those. But let's set our game up to 1280 by 800, and let's take it off full screen, and let's make it fastest. Okay, so you'll also notice that the rendering settings are options here, and any command line arguments you instruct the users to pass to your game if there's a problem can be passed in over there. So we say done, and now we click start. And the game will start in a windowed mode exactly the way we specified it from the Release Manager dialog. So that's how you replace the Unity settings. That's how you make a patch. Thank you very much.